with the world. Um, Welcome to the Brian Janu Show, podcast video. Um, as you know, this video will be on my Brian Janu Show YouTube channel. Go comment, leave comments, uh, watch videos, and subscribe, man. Subscribe. Did a new podcast episode also out today. So on podcast platforms everywhere. My mind playing tricks on me. Old Ghetto Boys, Scarface, rest in peace. Bushwick Bill. So legendaries. Willie D. So it kind of takes off that. I was like having a dream, and I was kind of like asking why all my dreams I think my body's trying to make me like realize something. Cause every time I'm tired, I'm trying to get up in the morning, it always creates this weird dream. It's always a weird dream. It's not always a pleasant dream. It's always like some shit exploding or destroying around me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So that's what the podcast is about today. So go listen to it and make your own assumptions of it. And also, if you even had those types of dreams when you're like sleep and then your body is not waking you up mentally, your brain starts waking up, but your body is still in a position. So go and listen to that podcast. Yesterday I did From Me to You, which is the other new series I've been creating for the Brian Janu Show podcast videos. Just thanked a lot of people. I got a couple offers to have sponsors and ads on my podcast, which is pretty cool. So hopefully, eventually I get a chance to do them and become an influencer for a couple companies. And I'll just talk about how that felt. And, hopefully I could continue to use my platform to create content and have people want to mess with it. So thank you guys. But I didn't do point of view or random shit, which is today. So I feel that it's in our best interest to pay attention to what's going on in the world. I know we're so walled off and we just care about our shit, but I'm really starting to like pay attention to how cancel culture is moving. I know I talk about cancel culture a lot because I really fucking hate it. I don't hate it, but I understand it. But it's a place for it. But it's just like you don't have to ruin somebody's life to get them to get the point. And I think that that's the problem with this world. That people want to ruin people's lives, and that's the thing with cancel culture. Cancel culture is about the worst shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the worst time in somebody's life, and you're trying to bring it back to make them feel worse about what the fuck they did back in the day. It's kind of crazy to me. I don't understand it. I don't like it personally, but I understand that the point for it is to make people feel human. That's pretty much what it is, right? Like these celebs or politicians or whatever are on this pedestal, and it's like we're gonna recount what you did to make you feel bad for what you did, to make you know that you're not as great as I am. You're just like me. You fuck up just like I do. But that's the problem, because these kids are 18 to 19, 20, 21, 22. Y'all can't start talking about me and my generation, millennials, when you're Gen Z. Like, you can't do that because you weren't even alive for it. You weren't even alive. Like, if you were alive, you weren't old enough to understand the concept, or the context of that era. So if I was 10 and 04 and you were just born, don't speak on anything. It's like you can't now go back and be like, well, I remember when I was like, you can't. We're not in the same league. We're not even in the same basket. So like, we're not shooting at the same rims. Like, it's not even the same. It's not. It's really not, man. And now I see why the last generation was so against my generation, and why they had their own gripes about us. But every generation is a reflection of the last, right? So it's like if you see, the last generation before my generation, they got away with a lot of shit. You could do a lot of shit. You could say a lot of shit. You could move however you wanted to move. It was no parents in control on. There was no internet, so you really couldn't have parents in control because there was no internet. So anything I said or did, it was what it was. It was said, it was done. Move the fuck on or handle it right there and there. And then my generation came into this with internet and with technology. But I was the last part of knowing that, I had like it's the summer. By the time I woke up to maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, we're gone. Especially if we had money. We were gone. We weren't even in the house. We weren't even in the house. And that's the thing, man. I used to come back from like Walmart with my mom, go put the groceries up and go right back outside. I remember that. A lot of kids can't because you're so used to this internet shit. You're so used to technology. When is the last time this generation went outside? What, to go play Pokemon Go? Like, y'all gonna catch Pikachu. Motherfucker, I grew up on Pikachu. Like, it's not the same, man. It's not the same. It's not the same. And we can't keep holding people from 10, 15 years ago to standards of now. You can't put old shit onto new results. It makes no sense. Like, old shit, it happened for a reason. It was to make that person understand, yo, that was then, this is now. Okay, I understand that. Like I said, if you want to bring back old tweets, okay, but you're going to realize, like, in 10 years or 20 years when all of these kids are growing up and now their kids are starting to call them out on some shit from back in the day. Like, damn, y'all really was, like, holding people back. Y'all trying to restrict people. Y'all are trying to make people perfect. You can't make somebody perfect. If God can make you perfect, then nobody can make you perfect. You could look perfect, but you could probably be broken inside. It's just the way it is. On the outside, you can look perfect. On the inside, you can be broken. It's just the way it is. So you got to stop telling people how to move and how to react to shit. How I move and how I react is how I move and how I react. And I think that we continuously saying this shit. And I'm saying this shit now, like, I don't know these people celebs-wise. I don't know none of these celebs. I just see what's going on. I don't even have Twitter no more because I got tired of that shit. Because every day it was like a new trending topic of somebody getting canceled or some bullshit topic that I really didn't care about. And that shit gets exhausting. Sometimes Twitter was there just to make me laugh and, what the fuck going on with this shit. And like when albums came out just to see how people were reacting to the album. My reaction was kind of like that. But I've kind of grown into the mindset of even albums where I take my time with albums. Like, I take 2 or 3 weeks with albums to really understand the concept of it. So I think yesterday, like early on the weekend, I was like, this Polo G project that he just dropped, the Hall of Fame album. I was like, this shit go hard. I said, this might be my top 5 album right here. This might be one of the last top 5 album of the year for me personally. Again, me personally. And I had people in my comments, Migos album go hard. This person album. I'm like, for y'all, why y'all keep... I'm not y'all. Like, why the fuck? And I appreciate it, though. Like, I appreciate the concept because then that makes me go listen to other music and really puts me into the perspective of, let me go listen to some other shit. Let me go listen to the Migos album. Let me go listen to Moneybagg Yo album. I haven't really physically sat down and really listened to those people's album. But I'm listening to Polo G, and I could hear the growth from the GOAT album to the Hall of Fame album. I could hear the progress. I've heard the Migos albums all over the years. Lyrically, they got better. I could tell you that much. But the beats are still the same. The concept is still the same. Nothing's really changed. They're just still talking about the money, power, fame, bitches shit. It's cool, but it gets tiring over time. I like people with new stories and new ability. I forgot also to put Lil Baby and Lil Durk album in that conversation. That's a dope album too, by the way. If you haven't heard it, which is kind of crazy because it's the #1 album in the country. But go listen to it, The Voice of the Heroes. But even now that, I'm breaking that album down a little bit more and more, and I'm listening to it. I might actually do. I don't want to create no more series, man. This might just be point of view random shit and just album reviews. I don't fucking know. But I'm not a journalist, but I love music, man. That's the one thing that links us all together. Period, man. I I know I started talking about cancel culture and just completely went to this, but but this is why it's called point of view or random shit. But I think, but music is a very important thing because even musicians have to deal with the cancel culture shit, which is brings me back to that because like months ago, maybe a couple months ago, people were trying to cancel Eminem for all of his past music, and it's like, bro, you can't cancel Eminem. I think I said this, like you can't cancel Eminem. I know you wish you could, but Eminem has got immunity in the game. Whatever he says now, because now you're going against, like I said, millennials and people that grew up on Eminem. And you got your own parents that grew up on Eminem. So you can't be telling us that Eminem is wrong when your parents grew up on Eminem. Your big brothers grew up on Eminem. Your uncles and your aunts and your sisters. I was listening to Jay-Z's Blueprint. He got some songs on there, some lyrics that in this era would be completely cancelable. In 2001, you can let it fly. It's like, it's 2001. Like, but again, it goes back to what I just said. Like, y'all can't keep holding people from their old mistakes to new era reasonings. Like, you just can't do that no more, man. You can't do that. You can't go back in 2010 or 11 and find tweets for people and then pull them out the closet and try to make it seem like, oh my God, you knew what you were doing. They probably were young and stupid and immature. They probably, look at me, I'm not fucking 100% a grown up. I don't know every fucking thing. I just know what I know. And what I know is y'all are making this very restricted. Y'all turning this into, like I said a long time ago, y'all finding ways to help the government take away free speech because you guys continue to bitch and moan and complain about shit that doesn't need to be bitch, moan, and complained about. And that's the problem with this world, man. You gotta stop doing that shit. I get it. Not everybody. Some people need to get called out. Like I always say, like if you're still, if it's you calling people out because they're not with the times with sexuality, you're not with the times with gender, or you're not with the times with race. Okay, I completely can understand that. Like they didn't call their ass out, but if it's normal shit, bullying and all that shit, like I get it. Like it depends on. To me, it's age requirements on even bullying. Like, if you're 25 and the person was like 16, that's a huge discrepancy. That's 9 years, man. That's a huge age gap there. You should know better. You're an adult. You're like that time now. You're an adult. You're 25. You should know what's wrong and right in the world, and you shouldn't be calling this kid out. And if you are gonna call a kid out, hopefully you pull him to the side and say, "Hey, man, call me. I want to talk to you about what you just did or how I feel about you." And y'all have a conversation on the phone. And hopefully that kid would take it more into like, oh, wow, they actually wanted me to call them and talk to them privately. Hopefully they won't turn it into like clout and try to get fame off that shit. Or you could get clout and fame off of your inner circle. You could tell your inner circle like, oh, that dude called me privately and was trying to. But I feel like that's the problem with this world right now, man. The more we put up the restrictions of what we can and cannot say, the harder it's going to be to have real conversations with people that we need to have conversations with. It's hard to have a conversation with somebody that's already in the mindset of, I'm right, you're wrong, and I don't give a fuck what you say. It's not going to change that mindset. That's a problem. That's a fucking problem. Like, that's what's wrong with this world, this country, everything, man, because if you're not going to have a real conversation with somebody, what the fuck is the point of even talking to somebody? That's the problem with everything, man. And the more I start seeing this cancel culture shit and it's pissing me the fuck off even more and more is because y'all continue to say y'all want to have these conversations, but yet none of y'all are pulling up the chair to the table to have it because all you motherfuckers are coming in with this mindset of, I'm right, you're wrong. And that doesn't work. If we're going to have a real conversation and try to change the country, the world, laws, whatever, even in government, you see it in government. Like when I do like walk through my living room and I see CNN on, and I see the government fighting over this, that, and other. It's like they're still getting paid. We don't even realize like they're getting paid to argue each other. So the longer it takes, they're still getting their money. Fuck the bullshit. They're still getting their money from the state they're representing in the fucking the U.S. government are paying them. So it doesn't even matter to them. They could take however long they want to take. I also feel like with the government too, but by the way, I'm a sidebar. I think that we need to have retirement in certain You know, the Supreme Court. We need retirements. We need, you know, the Senate. We need people to retire. We need a lot of shit, man. We need House of Representatives. Like, if you're older than the people you're trying to make laws for, like if you're in your 70s, I say 65. 65, cut off. You got now, I think at 60, they tell you, hey, at 65, you know you're going to have to retire, right? We're going to force you to retire. Like, I don't think nobody older than my parents should be making laws, or close to my grandparents' age should be making laws for how kids that aren't even old enough to even know what the fuck they are doing in this world, that are literally just born, that will have these laws in place for the rest of their lives possibly, because of some 65, 70-year-old person who wasn't even, they don't even know about, because they weren't even able to remember that person. Like, it's a crazy feeling, man. So I personally feel like we need a lot of shit. We need a lot of shit. But again, you can't keep man, you can't keep holding people back. You know, you can't say you want to have conversations with people, pull up the chair to the table, but yet say, I'm not changing my mind, you're wrong, I'm right. I don't care what you say, fuck you. I'm right, you're wrong. And it's just the way it's gonna be. Because that's the problem. A conversation is to be given because you have a side to argue, I have a side to argue. You know, I learned this in, when I was taking criminal justice. My teacher used to make us do debates and argue the law back and forth. What was the. So I remember debates a lot in my class. I used to like them. Never used to participate in them, but I used to like them. And we used to always argue this. And I feel like that is why I kind of like love having conversations, because it's like, I have a side to argue, you have a side to argue. The thing about it is, if it's not in a courtroom, there is no winner or loser. Nobody loses anything. If we have a real conversation and you learn something, I learn something, that's what we learn. That's what we win. But if you go to the table saying, I'm not going to change my mind, I don't give a fuck what they say, then you already lost before you even got to the table to have a conversation, because you don't want to open your mind up. You don't want to expand nothing. And that's going to be a problem for this world to continuously go. Because, man, I'm having days where I kind of like feel, out of body experiences and shit. And more I get older, I don't know, man, but my thoughts are starting to like think about my immortality a lot more. I don't know, I can't see myself at 75. I really can't see myself at 75. Or, even in the 50s right now. I'm 27. I know people will be like, well, why are you thinking that far? Because it's just like, that's things that you gotta think about a little bit. But I feel like that's the problem with this. And as long as we continue to say we're not gonna have conversations because I already know I'm right and you're already wrong, don't let the government get you fucked up out here. They're getting paid to argue and bitch and moan and complain and act like these laws that they so-called won't change will break the world, and turn it into the worst thing ever. But you pass laws for people that aren't even in this country to help them in their time of need, but you won't do it for your own people. That's just the world we live in and the country we live in. So I always really do feel like when you say America is the land of second chances, who the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? What country? What second chances you talking about? To who are you giving these second chances to? Is it damn sure ain't my people? So, there's a lot of shit off my mind. Just wanted to put out there. Also about the albums. I gotta go back, listen to some good albums. I gotta listen to some albums. Yeah, I got some albums I gotta go listen to. And I just want to say, man, don't get caught up in people out here sometimes. Like, if you want to get caught up in people, get caught up in the people that you actually know their heart, you know where they stand, you know where they're from, you know what they're coming from. Y'all can have real conversations. Nobody gets mad. Nobody takes it to the extreme or anything like that. Like, y'all have a real relationship. Keep those people around. The rest, laugh. That's all I can tell you. Never take it extremely. Never take it too don't take it too far. I just need people to understand. Like, at the end of the day, man, you know, at the end of the day, I really, really, really hope more people, understand one life. You only got one life, man, and don't let negative energy get into it. So, yeah, protect your energy at all times. Protect the people that you love at all times, and be safe and stay healthy.